Okay, welcome to another National Association of Christian Women Entrepreneurs Community and Education webinar. This is one I'm kind of pumped out about. I actually think it might take us 2 or 3 weeks to do everything in here, but I think what we will do in here is totally a game changer. It has been for me. So we'll dive right in. I think we're all here for the same reasons. We do what we do because we just love seeing other people celebrate their successes. And I mean, when somebody that I'm working with succeeds, I kind of succeed too. So it's a twofer. I love it. And that's probably your why may be the same as my why. I love that we provide community so you don't feel so alone, that we provide networking opportunities. And in fact, the networking opportunities are different this year in 2019 than they kind of ever have been before. And one of the things we're doing is the first Tuesday of every month during this Tuesday 2 p.m. Central Standard Time webinar, it's all about networking. I'll spend a few minutes introducing the theme of the month, but the rest of the time everybody's talking about their new program, service, product, whatever, and sometimes sharing questions and encouragements. And last time we did it, it was great fun. I love that we provide education. I'm an education or information junkie. I don't know that I've ever reached the end yet of my desire to learn new things. And so I'll continue as long as I have breath, probably. And maybe that's what we were intended to do. I love that we provide ministry opportunities. So today is the 22nd, and I should have been on an airplane to Guatemala with 2 nurses and 2 interpreters, and my father-in-law is the only father I actually have living, and it just didn't work out. And so we've postponed that trip probably till May, and actually might be planning another one in October. We wanted to catch Guatemala school children the first week of their school year, which is today. And we wanted to catch them maybe the last week of their school year, which is the last week of October, not because we're working with children as entrepreneurs as so much as we're entrepreneurs working with other Christian women entrepreneurs and taking a nursing team with us to do some medical screening and stuff for these little kiddos. And I'm sure their parents and everybody they know will show up as well. It usually is the way that goes. We also have, pray for us as we plan this, we also have a retired eye surgeon who wants to go and do some eye screening. She actually wants to do some eye surgery. And I said, I'm going to have to talk to somebody who knows more about putting trips like this together to get that to happen. But I think it's an awesome idea. And especially if that's what God's called us to do, we want to be faithful to it. I love that about us. I think it's one thing that sets us apart. Mark your calendars. March 21st through 24th here in East Texas at the lake, we'll have a writing retreat. If you're not close enough to come to Texas that week, at least put it on your calendar to remind you to pray for us. And maybe we'll do a little virtual something or other. I don't know. And then that's not a promise. And then mark your calendar for September 20th through 21st, or actually mark your calendar for the 19th through 22nd, so you have a day to get there and a day to go home, for everything chocolate dipped for our conference in the fall. Remember to look at our calendar. I actually haven't put Felicia's link on there for this Friday. We have a special coming up this Friday, and I haven't put, there's another link that I want to put on there for next Tuesday, and I haven't put those on there. But most of the time, we're trying to keep this calendar as up to date as possible so that you can click on it and click on a link within that event and find your way there if you need to. I think everybody in here is in that free group, but if you're watching this replay later and you're not in our free group, it's where things are happening. Actually, things are happening like this morning in the membership group that you don't get to know about unless they're in the membership group, but you do want to be a part of the free group for sure if you aren't already. Hey, Angela, long time no see. We missed you. So all this month of January, we've been talking about mastering your message. We wanted to start the year out that way because really I don't think we'll get very far if our message isn't really clear, mastered. So today is a continuation of that. It says January 29th, Felicia Cook, but she'll actually speak to us this Friday on the 25th. You'll see that on the, well, you won't see that on the calendar yet. I'll put it on the calendar. but I did put that link in all of our Facebook groups. So if you have time, Courtney, to find that for us and pop that into the chat room, that would be a huge, huge help, because you do have to register. It's free, but you do have to register for that. She's written a book on planning, business planning, and so she's going to continue talking to us about mastering our message, but based on that, mastering the business plan. And there's no way you can complete a business plan in 2 seconds. Yeah.
Is that going to be recorded? Because I've already have an obligation that
Oh,
day.
absolutely. You know me, I record practically.
You can miss it. Okay.
And it'll be in the NACWE membership vault forever. You know, we love storing things for your pleasure. So that means that on the 29th, I'll speak again. And if we don't make it all the way through what we're doing today, don't worry, it'll continue. We'll get it. We're going to get this done. We're going to get these steps done. Another new thing we have going on is our Wee Wednesdays. I have thoroughly enjoyed them. It's my turn tomorrow, so I'm really going to enjoy that. But every time I've listened to these short and sweet and concise videos for Wee Wednesdays, I've taken something kind of new away. So Holly is in the room. She talks to us on self-care. Kim Hawkins is in the room. She talks to us about getting from stuck to done. Don't we all need self-care and to be unstuck? We all need to talk about money better than we do. And so Kim Smith, and she's in the room, and Tina Parmigiano are talking to us about money. They made thinking about tax was not a painful process. I really appreciate that. I have enough money hang-ups for the whole group, let me just tell you that. And then I'm going to talk about marketing and monetizing, and then Kim Stedman is going to talk about celebrating at the end of each month, right at the end of each month, the beginning of each month, even if there's not quite a 5th Wednesday, she'll pop in and she'll let us know when she's coming in, and she'll talk to us about celebrating, which is something we decided last year we don't do as well as we should, or as often as we should. So I'm really appreciating her emphasis. Okay. I can't see everybody's faces, so how am I going to do this? I kind of want to know, there are 8 people in the room. I kind of want to know of those 8 people. And Courtney, I'm not watching the chat room, so you might scream at me if I need to.
I got it. I got it. Okay.
I want to know if you already have, raise your hand or say yes or something, if you already have a prayer team. You have someone who prays for you on at least a monthly and maybe even a weekly basis, on a consistent basis. You always know that they're going to pray with you side by side. And then
Kim Smith says yes. Holly says yes. They pray together, but not they pray for each other, but not necessarily together. And Kim Hawkins and Roberta say no.
And so then the next question is, do you wish you did have someone that you were praying with more consistently? So I'm just going to tell you, I need a prayer team. I think that we all do. Our Thursday prayer calls, I'm kind of embarrassed to say it, but just have kind of died. And so I want to rejuvenate them. We've moved them to 8 in the morning so that we can be at a meeting that we already have scheduled at 9 in the morning on Thursdays. And if you think, no, 8 o'clock in the morning is Central Standard Time every Thursday of the month, no way, Jose, it's not going to happen. At least put us on your calendar or wherever you put a note to remind you to pray with us or for us from afar. And if you would, consider choosing one of those Thursdays per month, the first, the second, the third, or the fourth Thursday per month, and making that your day that you come and pray with me. Like almost begging here. I think that is one thing we're not doing well. Everything else I'm so excited about, but I'm appealing to you to join me in prayer on Thursday mornings at 8 in the morning. All right, let's get started. Here's the link for registering for the Friday morning, 10 a.m. to, she wants 90 minutes because she's going to take you through, and you'll get a one-sheet handout. Felicia Cook Jones has written this book. It's on Amazon about making a business plan. It's pretty awesome. And she she knows that she can't take you through a business plan in one day. It's just not really possible, but she can sure give you a really solid framework for a business plan. And I think she's added an element that I was looking at her handout that I thought, oh, I hadn't thought about that one before. So I hope you'll join us, or at least, or like Angela said, we'll make sure that the replay is posted in the membership group. It won't be posted in all of our groups, but it will be posted in the membership group. I think she's going to bring something to the table. She was one of our speakers at last year's conference and had a death in the family and wasn't able to come at the last minute. So I'm kind of thinking I'm finally going to get to hear from her, which I've been trying to recruit her for about a year. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, let's get started. You need a pen and a paper, pencil and a paper. We're going to work diligently through some of these steps. We're going to take, I need to find some music too. I didn't bring my other cell phone up. I can do this. I'm a big girl with big girl panties on. I can do this. I'm going to play us a little music and take us through each of these steps. I want to give us each, there are 8 steps. I want to give us a minute in each step to kind of work through this process. I've made some notes for myself. Let me find a sunbroke piece. And basically, I'm basing most of this off of Donald Miller's story brand model, because what he says in that model is that you have to have some elements in place in your message so that people will want to click the button and come all the way through to your program, to join your service, buy your product, join your program. And one of my goals is making money in 2019 in a different way than kind of I've done it in the past. So, and I mean, I have an ulterior motive. We're going on retirement funds. My husband is older than I am and was asked to retire earlier than he wanted to last year, and we go on retirement funds. Too much information in a month. And so I want things to look a little different. I want to contribute to our monthly budget in a different way than I have in the past. So I've altered our motive. And if we don't have, some sort of plan or desire like that, we probably won't make our dreams happen. So I think it's a good thing. So let's see, music. Here we go. Basically, for this first step is pretty simple, unless you're me. I have a hard time kind of narrowing down my niche and
if you live in the Dallas
sorry.
Area and are tired of settling with your career.
Okay. I want you to take a minute. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. I'm going to do it right along with you. And think of your company, maybe a branch of your company, a division of that branch of your company. Really narrow it down to an element of your company that you want to work through this process with, because you'll work through this process on every element of your business and ministry later, but you can really only focus on one small segment of it at a time and do it well. So what we're going to do is focus on one. So for example, I know that under KarenBourg.com, I think NACWE looks good online, but under KarenBourg.com, the entire homepage, just the one homepage, is upside down and needs to be turned right side up. And so I'm going to focus just on thinking KarenBourg.com homepage. Don't go look at it. I'll be mortified. But anyway, KarenBourg.com homepage only. So I just kind of want you might want to draw out kind of your flow chart of your organization. What does it look like from top to bottom? And then as you kind of draw it out a little bit for yourself, you'll get a view and a vision, I think, of exactly where you need to be working. And when we talk today, we're kind of using the word website over and over and over, but you need to understand that mastering your message is done in the header on your website, not just on your website. It's done in your blog, as you blog, in anything that you write about on social media posts, etc. So when we talk, if I mention website over and over and over again, it's because that's where I'm focused, but you may be focusing on your next newsletter. And you want to see how all of these elements come together so that your message is really clear to your client and she clicks through and joins you on this next adventure with that new newsletter, or with this new blog that you're writing, or with this new web page that you're putting together, whatever the offer is, with a promotion on social media or whatever. So that's why I wanted to give you a precious minute to kind of narrow things down a little bit. So I don't know how to do the timer and this at the same time. Shoot.
I'll time it.
You're going to time it? How are you going to let me know?
I'll just tell you. I can let an
Shout
alarm
out.
go off.
All right, shout out. So just take a moment you're going to draw out your organization or something about your organization and narrow it down so that during this process you're working on one element of your business. Okay. Thank you. So we're not going to have time if we want to really make progress to hear from everyone, but I want to hear from one person, and I actually asked Courtney if she'd kind of let me use her as a guinea pig. So Courtney, as you looked at your organization, what are you going to hone in on? What are you going to focus on?
I think I'm going to focus on the vision coaching group, my main group.
And anybody else want to stick their neck out publicly? Because, you know, you're on video for the rest of your life.
I can't, will it reach?
Really?
No takers. Okay, you know who we're working with here. All right, so step two, a minute to do this one as well. And basically, he says you start with a character. And you have to understand that your customer is your hero, not your brand. One of the things that he said that just almost knocked me off my chair was if in the first thing you present to your customer, you present yourself. Here's, I'm going to help you. Here's how I can help you. Here's the experience that I've had or whatever. Even though they may know that you can actually be of benefit to them, they see you as competition. And they back off a little bit. Let me see, he even made a statement I wrote down. I don't see it here. But anyway, but it was something like, yeah, you know, I see, Karen, what you have to offer me, but I have stuff I've got to do. And so essentially, you haven't told me how you're going to help me with my stuff, really. You've just told me a little bit about you. Even though we've tried to tell them who we are and what we do and how we can help them, what comes across is who we are. So basically, he says you want your customer to be the hero, not your brand. There's a communication expert, Nancy Duarte or whatever, who said basically you just want to make sure that they understand that they're Luke Skywalker. You're just Yoda. Not just, because I mean Yoda was the most powerful Jedi on the planet, but we get that. But you're their guide. You're there to help them. They are Luke Skywalker who's going to save the Federation or whatever. So you basically want to start out with who she is and what she wants. If you're not clear about who she is and what she wants, then in your presentation you will confuse her and you won't sell her. So take a minute as you think about this one element of your business. Y'all are welcome to type anything in the chat room and save the chat room that you want to later. But we'd love to hear how this works for you towards the end. Take a minute and write out, think about who she is and what does she want. Ready? had shared on I had shared on the live video in the NACWE membership group this morning that when I first started out with this, just last night, in fact, doing it for this branch of my company, I was all wordy. It was like, here's what I can do. And, I wasn't really focused on what she wanted, but ultimately I came down. So it was messy. It was like, here's what I offer. I offer coaching, individual and group, to help Christian women entrepreneurs reach levels of success, worth celebrating. And it all boiled down to taking me out of the equation. So you may have a mess there, and that's okay. We're going to help you refine it eventually. But it all boiled down to she wants to reach heights of success that she hasn't reached before, and something worth celebrating, something worth putting out there and telling people about, and that sort of thing. Courtney, what did you come up with?
I said she loves Jesus and she's desperate to do what God's dropped in her heart.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else jumping in on these?
Yeah. Holly said, this is a work in progress and I feel like it changes everything, honestly. Here's what I got for right now. Female entrepreneur wants to feel fulfilled and worthy. She seeks it in achievements, building a 7-figure biz, but once she gets something, she's on to the next achievement to help her feel worthy. Achievement fix to help her feel worthy. She needs to get to the heart and soul of who she is and see her to find her true worth and true fulfillment. Mm-hmm. And Kim Smith said she just had an aha. She is a woman who has a lot going on and wants less stress, freedom to travel and have discretionary money without feeling guilty.
Absolutely. So, there's so much there, and you'll use that to kind of narrow things down as you go. Ready for the next step? Let's go to the next
Angela,
step.
were you going to say something?
If we have time, I was just going to read mine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Anna Achiever has accomplished much in her life, but now, alas, she feels stuck. Her life is changing around her, but she's unsure of how all that is and has to give translates into news.
Awesome. You can feel her pain. I felt like Kim Smith, you were talking about me for one thing, but then also Angela, you can feel the angst that this woman is experiencing without your help and what you have to offer her. Let's go to the next step. Essentially, this is going to be a mess, I realize, and it's rough draft and you're writing it all out, but that at the end, what you want to do ultimately, maybe I should say this for the end, but you want to make sure that each of these elements is touched on in your offer to her. Have you made sure she really knows who she is and what she needs from you? That's the first part. The next part, she's got a problem, and you kind of already, without even asking you to, you delved into some of the problems that she has, but we'll get a little more specific with this. We sell to an external problem. One of the examples I have is that really at the lake house, the retreat center that we have out on Lake Winnsboro, I'm always concerned about the lawn because we don't live there. So we're not taking care of the lawn. People are traipsing in and out. They're not taking care of the lawn. They could care less, right? They just want to get into the water. And so I'm always concerned about the lawn. And my external problem, so he says, you sell to the person's problem, but you don't go deep enough. You don't really get to the heart of it. And I heard you getting to the heart of it in some of those comments. And you don't get to the ultimate problem. So what my external problem is that the lake house lawn needs to be kept looking good for customers. The internal problem is that I had it earlier. The internal problem is that I'm concerned that people won't continue to rent and rent again every year because it looked awful when they got there. The rose bushes were dead, the lawn wasn't mowed, there were leaves everywhere, etc. But the even deeper problem is that I am concerned about my reputation and my income. If people don't continue to love this place and it's not kept up well, I'll lose business, and I don't want to know what you think about me if my lake house, my Airbnb isn't a success. And that sort of thing. So kind of think along those lines and get a little deeper and a little deeper into the problem that you came up with that she has. She starts out at peace. Now she's in angst or in turmoil, and she's on a journey. You're part of that journey, hopefully, to solve this problem. She needs your help. She's always striving for help to this problem, and you're going to talk to her about it. So let's take just a minute and delve a little deeper. You might not be able to, you might look at what you wrote already so far and choose one even of those problems and take it a little deeper and a little deeper and a little deeper if you can. Okay, ready? Wow.
Goes fast.
So, I mean, I will tell you, Courtney knows this about me because we work together weekly on the NACWE team, that I found myself putting her problem in my terms. And then I'll translate them into her terms afterwards. But I wrote, so what I wrote and then I changed it to she hasn't made money. She hasn't launched. Why not? She feels like a failure. She's got to go to the next step, or what are people going to think? She's not happy where she is anymore. She may even feel desperate. She needs to take some steps to get to that next level as an entrepreneur. Courtney, what did you come up with?
I wrote, she's growing increasingly dissatisfied or uncomfortable with not doing what God's put in her heart, and she doesn't understand what's holding her back.
Mm-hmm. I'd be more frustrated with the not understanding, I think, for me, than I would with not moving. Is the angst of, well, why not? What about, I've done everything somebody's told me to do. What next? Anybody?
I'm sorry, which part did you ask me? The internal or the external?
Either one.
Yeah, that was the internal. Yeah.
Anybody
else? I got Holly saying, problem. She never feels good enough, can't be herself in her business because she doesn't really know who she is anymore. She's lost herself and sabotaged herself. She hides behind what's expected. Kim Smith said she spends her fun money on fast food or something for the kids, then has resentment when she can't do what she wants and feels guilty when there's a true need.
Guilty, which is going to keep her stuck even more. These are awesome. I'm going to actually, we probably need to transcribe this and borrow some of each other's comments because they apply to so many different of our clients. So, anybody else popping in, or let's go to the next part? So the next part is that they're, like I said, they're not looking for another hero. They're looking for someone to guide them through this process. This is where he said, she's saying, oh, okay, you're another hero just like me. I wish I had more time to hear your story, but right now I'm just too busy looking for someone to guide me through my own story. So you have to make sure she understands that it's about her and not necessarily about you. She does need to know that you can do this for her. So you're going to set yourself, I mean, obviously Luke, he didn't believe that Yoda, I hate to keep using that one, but at least everybody's surely watched Star Wars or Cinderella or something. But I mean, at first he didn't believe Yoda was Yoda. Then when he believed Yoda was Yoda, he wasn't exactly sure if he could actually help him. And he kind of, I mean, I'd have been smacking the kid around because his attitude was pretty terrible. And then once he understood that Yoda had this power, he rose raised that spaceship out of the muck and the mire, and you could see Luke going, oh, I've misjudged this guy. Then he believed. So you do have to make sure that you've presented yourself as a guide who is credible and who has some expertise in helping them do this. This is where some of your testimonies and endorsements from people come in, where your years of experience have come in, you know, where your package makes a difference and that sort of thing. So thinking about you as her guide, how are you going to help her? You need to tell her how you're going to help her win the day and work through this problem that you just wrote down that she had. You don't want to be competing with her. You want to show her that you're her help and you're her guide. So let's take a minute to work through that. I should have said what. You're really telling her what you can do, not exactly how. So I found myself writing, every time I do this, I come up with a new thing. It's just why we do these things. Writing, yes, I have coaching programs, individual and group. I have packaged courses she can take advantage of. I have membership group that she can join if she wants to. But by group, I wrote, I really prefer her to be in a group. A small group, because 2 heads are better than 1, 3 heads are better than 2. I like what happens when more than one person is working through, which is what our Making It Happen group is all about. Courtney, what did you come up with?
Well, I put, I took this from the authority position, like what gives me the authority to help her as a guide. Like Yoda had to prove himself by pulling that ship out of the muck. And so I wrote 20 years as a therapist, 3,000 hours working with women, 35 businesses started because of clarity, and in over 5 different countries. I just wrote a little list of, little bullet points, some numbers. People like numbers.
Anybody else popping in?
You have to give them a second because Holly and Kim Smith have been typing their stuff.
I'll just chime in for a second. The process that I usually recommend is making a pact with yourself, PACT, and that's your plan, action, commitment, and tracking. And this is where making a pact with yourself comes into play. So in that way, it kind of gives that person, it gives that customer like that they're in control of it. Actually, it's not that I'm going to sit here and say, this is what you have to do. It's telling them that they kind of have it within themselves to do this. It's a process of building a habit that's going to result in getting more things done.
I remember that. So Kim Hawkins taught this at the conference last year, and the conference package is in the classroom. And if you registered for the conference last year, even if you didn't get to come, then you get it for free. And if you didn't, then there's a little charge for it, but it's in there. I remember that. I've carried that one with me. Thank you, Kim, for reminding me about that. Anybody else?
Kim Smith said, just to start, but she said, we'll lay out a plan that fits your situation and incorporate your goals and dreams. And Holly said, this is what I wrote, but I'm not sure it's what you're looking for. Most info out there is about how to boost your confidence and self-esteem. It's confusing and surfacey. There's a lot of things that work and don't work. More importantly, you have to do them in the right order. I figured out that I figured that out and put together a system that'll work for you and short circuit the time it takes for you to do it. The self-worth, WRTH system.
And you just set
She has her
yourself apart. This is your competitive advantage. You just set yourself apart from everyone else out there who's talking about building someone's self-esteem or self-worth or whatever. I think you're right on the money. The order of all of this will kind of flow depending on what you're working on, whether it's a blog or an ad or a web page or whatever, but that's beautiful.
Karen, can we go back for
yeah,
a second?
Go back.
Can you kind of skipped a spot, because this, what they're describing and what you described is really the plan, and it's really the plan of how you do it, which is step 4, and step 3 is more of what makes you a guide. Like for Holly, you know, how did you end up being able to develop the system? What experience did you have?
Interrupt you because I didn't hear that. When I listened to what they had to say, I heard what they can do to help this person. So to me, step 4, the plan is you literally want to give her 3 steps. I mean, the simple step is click the buy button. You're going to get a download of a booklet, and then you need to join the course.
Okay.
Join the course on a weekly basis. So I might have done this a little bit differently than we learned from him. But let's keep going and see if there's a hole left when we get further. I don't think there will be, but let's see. So we're on to step 4. I'd love to see how this all pans out in a new product or a new page or something when you get it done. And I'll show you mine, because I mean, you really ought to go look at KarenBourg.com and don't judge me and don't laugh. The homepage is just upside down. And we're getting ready to switch it all based on what I'm working on today. So you'll have a before. I'll take a before picture and I'll show you the after picture. I'd love to see what you come up with later. This is so exciting. This is the game changer. What a wonderful way to start the beginning of the year. I am pumped. This is me excited. So to me, the way I interpreted the next step is that they're not going to click any buttons unless they actually think you have a bona fide plan to offer them, some steps that you want them to take. And most of us don't tell them. They don't make a purchase because we haven't laid out a plan of action. We haven't even really asked, click the button, click the button, click the button yet. And he says you should do that every other sentence or so. I'll tell you, someone who's really good at the ask is Diane. So most of you guys are connected with Diane in some form or fashion. If you just go to your email inbox and type in Diane@DianeCunningham.com, there's an ask, and there's another ask, and there's another ask. And you can say no or you can say yes, but she's good at asking. It makes her a little nervous, and it makes all of us a little nervous. So we're not even getting to the call to action. That's number 5. Number 4 is, what are you going to tell them to do? And sometimes there's a buy now, and this is what I'm going to tell you to do. And sometimes there's a before you even buy, here's the steps that I want you to take. Here's what I want you to do. And so it's just a bit of information. It's a few steps you want them to take. It's my example was click here. You know, I think my button isn't going to say buy now. It's going to say make money. Click the button. You're going to get a workbook sent to you by email, and you'll have all the links you need to join us in the program, you know, the 13-week program or the 8-week program or whatever. So let's give that a stab. Ready? You're telling her just some simple steps to take. Or you're telling her, once you click this button, here's what's going to happen.
That goes so fast.
I know, but it's so fascinating because I wrote down something totally, not totally, but kind of different than what I wrote down when we worked through this before. And because in the working through it before, I wasn't really asking people to get on my list. And I think that's again and again and again the number one goal. If she's not on my list, I have no way of saying if she says no to my service or product or program, I have no way of touching base with her again and saying, okay, well, what about this one? Or what about this one? Or here we have a new offer. Or is there something else that you might be interested in? Do you know who we are? What we do? So I changed mine to step one is download this free booklet, and then they're on my email list. And then I changed, the next step was you'll get another free booklet. I'm going to give her another free booklet. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this, but these are my rough drafts. And then I'll say, okay, now I want you to maybe have a free consultation with me, because I don't really want to work with anyone that intimately until we've had a chat first. And then I'll upsell her to, it sounds like you'd be ready. The group would benefit you more, or individual coaching would benefit you more, or you don't even need to join Karen Board Company's coaching. You just need to be a NACWI. This is where you need to go. And she'll either say yes or no to that. So Courtney, what'd you do? What'd you put?
Well, I'm kind of rethinking it now that I wrote it down, and I've got it written down twice, but I put download the vision workshop, join the coaching group. This is the step I'm not sure about. Ignite your passion, and then start living God's plan for you. Those are the steps that I have, the plan.
And you may reorder those based on what her desire was or what her frustration was. But yeah, it's a start. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the ignite and the passion. Oh my gosh, there's some keywords for you. Wonder if those are on your webpage.
They are. They are.
You're right on track. Roberta, are you waving at us? No.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. I want to share. I don't know if I push something to wave, but, and if I sort of understand what's going on with this, but I had gain marketing momentum, and that would be the button. And then I would say download this assessment so, they can look at their stuff. And then now here is the bonus. And I think the bonus would be the discovery call.
Mm-hmm.
And I would give the results, feedback on the assessment.
I love that.
Something like that.
And I love the discovery, because isn't that what I want to do? I mean, no matter where I'm headed, I've got to discover a different path, a different step, it's got to be different. I'm sorry, 2019, maybe that should have been my keyword for different. It wants to be different. Somebody else?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We're going to hear from Roberta in March. Can't wait. Little plug, shameless plug. All right. Anybody typing anything, Courtney?
Yeah, I just got something from Holly. She said, download your free confidence key ebook to learn the #1 secret to boost your confidence. Then join the Ultimate Conference Building Bootcamp. Click here to schedule a time to chat about how I can help you on your journey to be you. I like it.
Plug for the boot camp. Is Kim typing? Is anybody else typing?
Not yet.
Okay. I don't want to go too fast.
I'm jotting myself some notes.
Kim Hawkins has something to say.
Okay.
I thought I was jotting myself some notes.
Okay. Okay. Then step 5 is your call to action. And basically he says oftentimes, someone's looking at what you have to offer and they really are interested in it, but you didn't ask them to push the button. And that people really don't buy until somebody says, and he said, it wasn't Donald Miller, it was somebody else who said, if you watch late night television, you wake up in the middle of the night and turn TV on, and you see these flashing lights that say, get it now, get it within the next 5 minutes, you'll die if you don't. I mean, your life is over as you know it if you don't call within the next or, go to our website within the next 5 minutes. And then there's 50 upsells. I mean, you can tell I've played that game before and then just shut it down. And once I shut it down, then I got an email saying you didn't complete this process. And I thought, no, that's scary. They know how to hook you in. I was like, leave me alone. I didn't mean, I was just looking around. So his point is really can't ask enough. I don't know about you guys. This year is going to be different for me. I think in past years, I was afraid to ask. I don't know if I was afraid of the no or whatever. And, oftentimes now I realize looking at my webpage, I asked and they didn't even know what I was asking them for. So basically just that. You have to give them a reason to buy. You have to tell them to click the button. Maybe the button needs to be flashing like it does on late night TV. Maybe it needs to be more catchy instead of click here or buy now. I mean, I like my make money button. I can't wait to pop that up there. Reach new heights, gain confidence. I love that. Discover, ignite. I mean, there's some powerful words floating around in here we can all borrow from each other, but you have to ask them. So I'm going to let you work on the ask, the call to action, but then I'm going to define what happens if they say no, just a little bit. I think I am. Courtney might have to help me with this one, but let's give us a minute and you probably don't even need a whole minute, but just throw some things out there on paper during this minute. What is your direct call to action? What are you telling her to do? And some of you kind of already used words. I mean, I know Roberta did, but let's go with that. All that for just that minute. So I found myself writing things like make money. I still like that one, but I really am asking them for a free consultation first because I don't, like I said, want to fire myself as someone's coach once we've already gotten started. I really want them to know me and me to know them. So I'm thinking free consultation, but then you know what? I mean, I said reach levels of success. I put down step up with an exclamation mark. So see, then I put download and I thought, no, take a step, no. So you'll refine it as you go. But, the Lord just really uses these moments, as we've seen, as NACWE members working together so many times to open your heart to kind of some new ideas and new words and new opportunities. So Courtney, what did you put?
I have two. I have one is Join Vision Coaching Group, but I have an application once you go to that page. So if someone is interested enough to join, then I want them to apply. So it's apply now. I keep mine really simple, straightforward. This is what we're going to do. Join it and apply.
It needs to be 1 or 2 words. I mean, and I have trouble with that. That's why I kind of have to write it down and refine it. I do think that a button needs to be colorful and repeated and a word or 2. Anybody else? Kim?
I know we're almost at the top of the hour, so I just want to share this, and it just might help people as they're thinking through something. Years ago, I worked in a call center. I worked in the travel industry, and I could go through the contents of what was included in the package like nobody's business. I told them everything they needed to know. But the thing that I was weak at was the ask. And so I could go through that. This is the total price and it includes this and this and this and this and this. And then I just leave it hanging. And so you have to have your ask in place, no matter what it is, not just travel. So if I was talking to a travel agent, I knew that I could say easily, can I hold this for you while you talk it over with your clients? Because at least that way it was held, even if they weren't putting money on it. Or the same thing with clients. You can say, I can hold this for X amount of time while you talk it over with your husband or while you talk it over with your travel companion. But giving that example, that might give you an idea of like, that you're giving them some space. So with our businesses, our opt-in, like, you know, whether it's an ebook or a challenge or something, this is the thing they can do that is not costing them anything but their own time. So then the big ask is, if that's not your style, then you can work with me directly by doing this, by, you know, booking your coaching consultation or whatever. That's the big ask. So look at it that way, like, you know, what gives them the time to make their just informed decision or to mull it over without costing them something before, because you keep saying, well, I don't want them to just pay and then not want, you know, not like the service. So there's something to think about.
Yeah, let me put this on hold. And so that leads me to, well, two things come to mind. One is there's a direct call to action, and it's click the button and get the thing, you know. And then there's a transitional call to action that says, you're not ready. You're not going to say this, but it's essentially the communication is, you're not ready to do this. Well, here, you know, download our free booklet, you know, and of course at the end of the booklet, you're talking about your programs again, and they might or might not take advantage, but there's a transitional. And then if you have a transitional call to action, and then if you have them on your email list, you get to reach out and touch them over until they unsubscribe, you know. You get to reach out and touch them over and over and over again. And Kim Hawkins, what you just said reminded me of the first thing I ever joined as a young married, and y'all, I was so shy, it was not even funny, painfully, was, and I don't know what happened, you know, but anyway, this woman came to our house and did a Mary Kay, you know, makeup, what do you call it, show. And I'm loving the makeup, of course, but I'm thinking, no way am I going to stand in front of anybody and tell them how to put makeup on or say, would you buy this makeup for me? Not going to happen at all. And she just leaned in. Her name is Susan Jerky. I'll never forget her. We're still friends. She said, my last name is Jerky, because she didn't want to call herself Jerky. And she just very gently kind of leaned into me and said, Karen, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to do this as a, you know, business opportunity? And I said, no, no reason at all. And the next thing I knew, I never got a car, but I was making some money selling Mary Kay products. Still use them to this very day, but don't buy them for myself. So I do realize should we skim along a little bit faster? We just have two more things to touch on. If we finish these 7, and then we'll start part 2 is next Tuesday. Let's do it. Are we okay with y'all? Go ahead and type in the chat room whatever you want us to know, and we'll save the chat room.
I think Roberta wants to say something, I think.
I don't know how I keep pushing buttons, but that's good. I'll do mine quickly. Mine is, how do you think you can benefit from spending a day with me? I'm extending my personal invitation. This is for VIP days. And then I just put my little button thing is RSVP within 3 days.
That's clever.
It is. And then we're also going to encourage you to rephrase that to, here's not how do you think you can benefit, but here's how you can benefit. Somewhere on that page or in that ad, you want to also say, you're telling them, here's how you can benefit from that day with me.
You know why I put it like this? This is part of what I was teaching in the sales psychology thing, because I want her to decide. And that's why I'm provoking her to think.
You want her to
she decides
what she was looking for. I love that.
Yeah, if she decides, I'm not going to have trouble closing her, because she's closing herself.
Let's see if we can make any more progress without taking you. If you guys need to leave, the replay will be there, but I really think we just have these 2 things and closing it out to do. The last thing is we're going to combine these 2. Let's combine these 2 and see if we can do them in 1 minute instead of 2, just to save time. If you need more time, we'll set the timer for another minute. Basically, you're going to explain to them, sometimes So if they're a client like me, Roberta, they don't always know what they want. The NACWI team, bless their hearts, is so patient with me. And oftentimes when we're talking about how to do something or what to do next, change this web page, do this or that, I talk through it with them and I realize I didn't really even know what I wanted. And so there's a lot of refinement that has to be done. I don't know if they experienced that with Diane. None of them would ever say. And they're very patient with me. Bless their hearts. They're very patient with me in that process. I kind of process out loud. Takes me a while to think through things and that sort of thing. So you really want to tell her. He says, don't assume that they really know how your brand is going to change their lives or what it's going to help them avoid. What frustrations they're going to avoid. And I think doing these together, so we've done these separate before in a coaching group, and what happened to me was the two, what you're going to achieve and what you're going to avoid, were true statements, but they didn't really match up. So if we do them together, I think you'll say, you know, instead of being frustrated, you know, you'll be relieved or whatever. You know, they'll match up. So you want to try to make them match up. You're going to not assume that she understands what she's going to get. Surely she has a dream of what she's going to get, but you're going to tell her how your brand can change her life. So so somebody used the word discovery, Roberta, you did, and Holly used the word self-worth. And so you've already said it. You're just going to write it down one more time. So you're going to tell her how your brand can change her life. And these aren't even in any order. You could tell her how it's going to avoid some sort of frustration for her at the same time. Let's give that a stab and close out and get you out of here almost on time. Ready? My goodness. So interestingly, I came up with one thing and one thing only and kind of stopped. And that may be an indication, I would hope, maybe from the Lord, that I'm on the right track. I said this the other day and somebody reacted, and they reacted and they were like, yeah, that's it. Stop spinning your wheels. I feel like I have spun my wheels and not made it to where I really wanted to go. I've spent more time just pedaling, you know, like the duck under the water kind of deal, and not really making tracks. And so you'll stop spinning your wheels and you'll make it happen. I'll either say you'll make it happen or you'll make money. I might go back to the make money thing, since our coaching group is called Making It Happen. You'll stop spinning your wheels. That's the frustration. And you'll make it happen. Courtney, what'd you put?
I combined them and I said you can live a life you love without regret, living out your passion, and making a difference, impacting the world with your God-given message and voice.
I'm anxious to know how you're going to relieve me of the regret. That's a big one. Let's go back to the guilt and the shame part and that sort of thing. Is anybody typing or coming in? Popping in?
Yeah, Kim Smith said, you'll feel in control of money instead of it controlling you. Gain peace and a place of stress.
And you might find yourself using some of the words you just used here on that button, right? Because I saw myself, the make money button. There it is again, make money. So just maybe put the button as the tell. It's the tell and it's the call to action. Anybody else popping in? If you look back on what she said, so, you know, maybe she was talking to you or she in her application or anything, there may be a key word in there also, and something that she said you can use as these statements. Basically, you're explaining to her that something's at stake and you can help her overcome that stake, I guess. When she told you what her problem was, whether it was debt, stagnation, I'm stuck, I have health issues, or whatever, you're going to tell her how you can help her with that problem. You're essentially kind of explaining to her that it costs her not to do business with you. I love that. I wrote, okay, so Apple was an example. When Apple, I know Steve Jobs, saved the day and all of that stuff, but when they first were going, they were failing. They weren't making money. They were about to go bankrupt, and they were just saying, buy a computer. Computers can do all these wonderful things for you. You should buy a computer. And so the failure was, then Steve Jobs came in and said, actually, this is our way of making your voice be heard. Putting yourself out there, make yourself be heard. Share your message with people. And so it went from, the failure was, you have no computer, you have no voice. Your voice is not going to be heard. You're not going to get yourself out there. Or you have a computer, but you don't have a clue how to use it. And we're not even going to just teach you how to use it. We're going to show you how to make your voice heard. And everybody wants to be heard. So he went to a deeper problem than just the external problem. He went to touching people where he knew that everyone desired to be heard. So, okay, let's close out, because I don't want to keep you here too long, but oh my gosh, I'm surprised we made it this far. But I'm glad we did, because we have more things to do next Tuesday. So I wondered
Holly said, wait, let me read what Holly said. Holly said, stop sabotaging yourself, stop hiding, have courage to be you without apology or feeling guilty.
I love that.
That's
be you. We want to be honored for who we really are. I mean, Holly, you have a very unique thing going on here. I think about you a lot. Before we go on and close this out, I have one more slide to share with you, but I wanted you to do this, Courtney, if you can. If it's all at your fingertips, I wanted you to read through your 7 steps, just one after the other, so we can hear the whole.
Sure. Okay. The hero she's the hero. She loves Jesus, and she's desperate to do that thing that God's dropped in her heart. Her problem is that she is growing increasingly uncomfortable and restless. She doesn't understand what's holding her back. As the guide, I have a lot of experience helping women, 20 years as a therapist, 3,000 hours with women, 35 businesses out of Clarity of Vision in over 5 countries. The first step is you download the Vision Workshop, you join a coaching group, ignite your passion, and then live out God's plan for you. And then my call to action is, depending on where it is join a Vision coaching group and apply now. And then my, I didn't actually write my last one down because it's already on my website. My last one is that you can have a life you love without regret, living out your passion and making a difference, impacting the world with your God-given message and voice.
Awesome.
That's the success and the failure you avoid.
As a counseling supervisor, I do have to give this freebie away to you. You realize to get your license, you already did 3,000 hours, so it's more like 6,000 hours.
I know. I was being conservative.
Yeah, we don't want you to be a braggart, but we want you to step out there. So really, you guys, this is so exciting to me. This is one of the game changers for 2019 for me. What you have just done, if you realize it, is outline your next, whatever it was, web page, retreat, blog, newsletter, social media ad. I mean, the sky's the limit. We said newsletter, whatever. You have now outline, and you may switch it up and change the order around. You're going to put more buttons in there and not just in one place, even though we only talked about the buttons a couple of times. So everyone in here is a member. If people are listening in later and they're not a member, at least we want them to join this new group that we have going on. It's a lot more interactive than our Facebook fan page, and it has a lot more offerings and special touches in it, I think. If you're already a member, then I'll just give you a little, the people that are in here, I think, are all members. You've got 36 benefits at your fingertips, and some of those include discounts and extra handouts and opportunities. The Making It Happen group is just the upper level upgrade of your NACWE membership. If you're already a member, the price is a little different. You'd have to text me or private message me about it or whatever, but there are 41 benefits in there, including the free offerings, discounts, 26 hands-on networking and coaching sessions where we do this, but we take our time and get it done and show it to each other and actually click the button, pop it up there and change the page and everything a little bit better. Opportunities to present as a NACWE virtual challenge person, presenter, and to speak at the conference. If you are in that group and you show up at the conference, you will be offered an opportunity to speak. We did that last year. It was fun. It was really awesome. I'm going to do it again every year. So God bless you. I know it was a whirlwind, and I know that my notes look really awful. I'm not sure I can even read my handwriting, but I have I have 3 full pages of notes for that new Karen board. So I'm going to go take a picture of KarenBoard.com. Here's my accountability offer to you. I'm going to take a before picture, show you what it looks like, cringing in my boots here, and then show you the after once we pop this up. So thank you for working through it with me and just being a part of my life. Oh my goodness, I can't even tell you. My face hurts from smiling, so let me pray for you. Father God, these women are amazing. They have a lot to offer, and they have needs. Every one of them, or they wouldn't be doing the work you called them to do in the first place. And they want to further the kingdom by touching people's lives. And so we pray, Lord, for all of us, that you make us vessels that are able to do that, and that we're able to do that in ways that make you say, well done, my good and faithful servant. We can't ask for anything more than that, and that lives might be changed, and our lives are changed along the way as well. Lord, help us to continue to encourage one another this way. Help us to refine what we wrote down and scribbled down in ways that take us to that next step, that next level. Help us to see some result from this, even within this next week. And we ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. Yes,
Amen.
Yay, we rock. I think, let me change.
Amen.
Let me save the chat room because there's good stuff in there. Do y'all know how to save it for yourself if you want to? When you get ready to type a message, it says to everyone and then more, and you click on the more button and it drops down and says save chat, and you've got valuable words in
That's
there.
good to know.
I'm hooked on our chat messages. God bless y'all.
All right. See you.
Bye.